After years of tugging and tugging, years of threatening to target Iranian nuclear reactors, the war that everyone was warning about and everyone was talking about occurred, which is the direct targeting of Iran, which is the largest Israeli targeting ever. And before we go into the details of what happened, we know why the war or the confrontation developed into a direct war in this way. At first, he was in talks on, of course, Iran is under international sanctions, and because Trump in his first term canceled the nuclear agreement that was between Western countries and Iran, there was an agreement. What are Iran's rights? How is Iran right? They use their nuclear reactors. Trump said this would lead to Iran eventually having a nuclear weapon. What does this agreement have with another agreement that will limit Iran's capabilities and prevent it? Iran's nuclear capabilities and prevents it from possessing a nuclear weapon, in addition to preventing it from developing ballistic missiles, as well as supporting militias. This is his first term. His second term is Trump, and he said, I am a man of peace in the world and my father. The Nobel Peace Prize and I extinguish wars everywhere, and my father informed Iran of these sanctions. Come, Iran, let us come to an understanding. I give you, let us negotiate again, and my father sees a quick solution. This is the content of what the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia conveyed in King Salman's message to Iran via Saudi Arabia's envoy, Prince Khalid bin Salman, months before Trump's visit. Prince Khalid bin Salman went and sent a message and said, see Iran, you are showing pardon. America is serious. You see, in this topic, this is the way to get an agreement. Trump wants a quick deal. You see, Trump gives you a chance to howl. They went too far and they procrastinated and procrastinated and procrastinated. They last for years and they deliver. Their fertilization has reached stages that cannot be reversed. Then Trump sensed this. He told them that, you see, the 60-day deadline, 60 days ended last Thursday, which of course was the day before yesterday. One day before the deadline expired, Netanyahu contacted Trump and told him that, you see your deadline expiring with pay, and you see that we are determined to strike Iran, and you see that Iran will not submit to you, nor will it agree to the conditions that you are in, nor will it reach the agreement that you want, and Iran will procrastinate and tighten his hand. Trump seems to have used these last moments to put pressure on Iran. So Trump went and ordered the withdrawal of families, military families, diplomats in Iraq, Kuwait, and Bahrain, meaning some countries in the region, and he told them that you are allowed to leave and the employees are not important in Iraq. He said that you are allowed to leave, and indeed the planes seemed to be evacuating. Iran made a grave mistake, and Iran believed that this was just a tool of pressure, etc. It could actually be, it was just a tool of pressure that made a mistake on Iran if it responded publicly and said Iran sees this as pressure to which they are accustomed. We will not submit to your pressure while you spout empty talk. You have neither a strike nor a watermelon. These are pressures in order to subjugate us so that we agree to your best conditions. The negotiations between you and us in the nuclear agreement were, of course, in stages. I think we have reached the 6th stage under the auspices of the Sultanate of Oman, and a meeting was supposed to be held next Sunday. Let's assume an argument that Trump was actually threatening Iran, and he was just waving and putting pressure on Iran. He's making movements to fear Iran and withdrawing the forces of the Allal, the civilians, and he said to them, look at the strike and see how close the strike is. Is it wise for Iran to embarrass Trump, who is stronger than it, and to embarrass Israel? Is it an embarrassment to Israel, giving Israel an excuse to carry out the strike? This is Iran's fault. Iran's fault. She came out publicly and said these were just threats. This is a threat to use force. We are accustomed to it. You are threatening to use force in order to subjugate us so that we can sit with you again in negotiations. We are not sitting in negotiations, nor are we compromising on our conditions. And these are our conditions that you will regret. You will regret what you will regret. Goodbye. Here, of course, Trump fell into embarrassment. Through this behavior, Iran forced him to instruct Israel and give it the green light. They went and beat them and showed them that these were not pressures. They embarrassed me and told the world that we are still pressuring us and we are not afraid. And they really showed them that I can do something. This is Iran's mistake and miscalculation to bring Iran into this big fall. It ended Iran's military capabilities in this way, embarrassed Iran, and of course it ended the first row of military personnel and directly guided Khamenei. And this means that we were targeted. The important thing is that Iran also made the first mistake, this mistake. The second is that Iran believed the Israeli threat. Israel said, of course, that's it. This means that an element of surprise was missing in a strike. And Iran is sitting saying, no what? There is no strike and empty talk, but surely Iran will be careful. How can we create an element of surprise? We surprise Iran until we achieve our goals. So they got up and leaked news that Israel intends to strike Iran after Sunday, which is Sunday, the negotiations, the next negotiation session with the Americans, and that if they come up with an agreement, you see, we will strike them. If things were easier, those responsible would have left. They slept in their homes. In the morning, they became nothing but Iran except Israel. In their morning, with missiles that targeted the officials, the military chiefs, the chief of staff and deputy chief of staff, the chief of the Revolutionary Guard, and chief of intelligence, chief of air force, and a large number of officials, specifically the head of the air force, did not go any further. And I believe that matters of an Israeli level meant infiltrators, or perhaps he did not have a vision of what happened. So he called for an emergency meeting with the leadership. And when he met with them, they struck them with one blow, which was his air leadership in one place. One. At the meeting place, and the strikes were precise to the point that they targeted officials in their bedrooms with such precision. Look how they hit the wall, a small hole that hits the bedroom of the person who is sleeping in it. The official now, meaning they must know where he is sleeping, when he slept, and when he entered his bedroom. All this information they had, and in one moment they carried out all these operations, killing approximately 10 senior military officials in addition to 10. Nuclear scientists, this is the first day when you carry out operations with such precision and target the most senior military and security officials in one night, all of them, and inflict a fatal injury on them. And you are not wrong, not even 11 people said about him. He was seriously injured. It seems that when he arrived at the hospital, he died. The one who is Shamkhani, Khamenei's advisor. This means that Iran was not penetrated as we imagined in front of Israel, but it was completely exposed to the point that Israel carried out landing operations of commando forces. Commando forces, these were installed. What were they installed? Missiles. They appear to be small bases and missiles, as well as P. A complete base for launching drones worked inside Iran, and of course they responded again. The commandos responded, boarded their planes, and returned to Israel. Sadly, they repeated their mistakes. And this morning, Saturday morning, a shepherd in Syria, in the Syrian desert, spotted 2 CA-130 aircraft, the helicopter they call Hercules, flying at low altitude after carrying members of the Zionist army who were conducting operations on the ground. The rows of the planes, this is their rows again, safely to the occupying Israeli entity. Of course, the drones that had a base inside Iran were aimed at hitting the batteries and Iran's air defense so that the Israeli planes could enter at their own convenience and target the targets they wanted accurately and return again without any threat. Of course, why did Iran have a misjudgment? Because there were indicators, very clear indicators. Big and small indicators have shown escalation over the years. In the region, this escalation did not lead to higher oil prices. But at this point, oil prices rose very significantly before the strike, which means that a strike is imminent even. Also, of course, gold prices rose, and even the index of what they call the pizza index. The pizza index rose significantly on the night of the strike. This is the pizza index. What do the pizza restaurants around the Pentagon sell? High sales at night. Through Google, a simple tweeter looked up a pizza index and found that it had very high pizza orders. This region, which means that there are office employees staying up late in these offices unusually, which means that frenzied military activity will occur, and this indicator has not been wrong even once. And this shows the absolute misjudgment of Iran and the fragility of the military situation of Iran. Iran, of course, only words, statements, and bullying. Peaceful states in the region supporting militias, terrorism, etc. But in a direct war, Iran is 75 times bigger than Israel, yet Israel almost flattened Tehran, and the war will continue. According to estimates, it will be no less than a week, and I believe that the escalation will decrease in a way that does not mean quickly. Then it will stop and statements will begin here and there and things will go away. Iran, of course, responded to the Israeli strikes. Of course, Iran tried to launch 1,000 missiles but was unable. Why couldn't it? Because the Israelis were hit. The infrastructure of missiles and missile batteries, so it was difficult for the Iranians to transfer missiles from warehouses to bases and launch pads. What they were able to launch, they transported them all, so they launched in the first wave 100 missiles, and the second wave approximately 150 missiles, or let's say 100 dead missiles, 2 missiles during 2 Mushta. 9 of these missiles fell, meaning an average of 4.1%, meaning every 100 missiles, 4.5 are falling in areas. Indiscriminate strikes do not lead to any strategic injury, while all Israeli strikes inside Iran were strategic, hitting missile platforms. Radars have been hit, air defense batteries have been hit, and reactors or JCPOA programs have been hit by Iran's nuclear program, and it is not yet clear to what extent the damage has been to the nuclear program. In addition to its targeting of the most senior military and security officials in Iran, a fact that it seemed to me as I was watching that Israel is afraid of something, and I was discussing with a friend yesterday and telling him that Israel is afraid of something. The language Netanyahu spoke called that we were going through difficult days. Stay in the shelters, follow instructions. It was in unusual language. Israel is afraid of something. It turned out later that Israel knew that Iran would launch waves of missiles and waves. These large ones, the Iron Dome that Israel has, will not be able to repel them all. It will leak how many missiles in each batch, and this is actually what happened, and it seems that this is the biggest concern. Of course, Israel knew to the point of penetration, then it knows the reaction that Iran will make. It even leaked a meeting or the content of a meeting that took place between Khamenei and his leaders after the first strike. Khamenei held a security meeting and there was talk about the meeting. Israel leaked these words to such an extent. Israel penetrated the Iranians and even carried out another wave of liquidation of the leaders who are today. This is another wave of liquidation. Military commanders as well as Iranian nuclear scientists, they are cautious. That means their locations may be exposed. However, they were targeted and their locations are known accurately, and this confirms the depth of Iran's miscalculation. Iran did not expect to what extent it was exposed to Israel, and it seems that even what happened to the so-called Hezbollah seems to have been, according to Dr. Israeli incursions into Iran. More than infiltrating the party, it seems that the information was taken from Iran to the extent that Iran is greatly exposed. And I think that Israel, it is not yet clear whether she is actually afraid of leaks or fearing the information that Iran stated that it had about the nuclear program. Iran announced 3 days before the strike that it had stolen sensitive information about the Israeli nuclear program or sensitive nuclear information or the Israeli nuclear file. So Israel reserved and did not respond. It is a base to lure Iran. Is it really Iran that leaked, or did you manage this hack? Israel, you mean? You didn't deny this to me. This is an acknowledgement from her. The matter has not been clear yet. It is clear that Israel is in control of the pace of the war, and it will also be in control of stopping the war. When did it start it? And I think she's going to be in control. By ending it, Iran wants any strike to save face, and these strikes are sufficient for it. I believe that if Israel stops, meaning it stops today, Iran will cease at the same moment, and Iran wants to make media victories out of these strikes or be content with that. But Israel's continued targeting of strategic points inside Iran prevents this. How long will Israel continue? I think according to the readings, it won't be more than a week from now. Israel will have ended its goals and crippled Iran in a way that is not alarming to it. And if Israeli strikes on Iranian nuclear sites are repeated, it means that Israel is trying to dig deeper and deeper into the ground to destroy them. The entire reactors. But I mean, so far things are unclear and no significant information has been leaked. Iran has not been publishing information, and Israel has not been publishing significant information in this regard. A minute so far, I mean, things are under surveillance and have not been clarified yet. These confrontations have proven to us three solid facts. The first is that Iran is a solid fact, that Iran is completely exposed to Israel. The other is that Iran has not and will not be able to manufacture a nuclear bomb. And the third is that Iran cannot deter Israel. Iran is trying to strike a blow to Israel, and every time you say, I have stronger, I have stronger. Now things have reached the knife, as they say. They have reached the bone, and the threat has become direct to Khamenei. Just as we targeted a quarter of you, we can target you. Shut up so you don't get targeted. Stay at this pace, and I cannot even imagine that he has more than this pace. And I believe that Israel left him because it knows his reactions and knows his actions better than others. And it seems that he may have some fear that will serve Israel after the targeting that reached the leaders of his army and his security leaders. All of them, so he will have some fear and want to end it. Confrontation in any way, save face. It will not escalate further, so it seems that this is the reason for abandoning it and not targeting it. The last and most important point for us remains, what impact did this war have on our countries? Or are our countries in danger from this confrontation? I believe that the reason for our country's rapid denunciation of two things is the affirmation of an international right, which is the inadmissibility of any attack on any country in the world. This is an absolute right for me, for all nations, as one nation may attack another. The other thing is to deliver a message that we are not a party to this war, as we are not with the Israeli strikes, and we are not. We do not designate it against Iran, and we are not with Iran, and we mean we are talking about international right and international law only. Iran is aware of this fact, and Iran does not want to antagonize Iran further, against her. Even if it hinted at closing the Strait of Hormuz, even if it hinted that the Americans were a party to this conflict, I believe that these are means of pressure or a pressure tool for Iranian confusion. It is not yet clear whether Iran actually wants to take a position in this direction or not. Unclear so far. I think confusion is the master of the situation in Iran so far.